Okay, back again with another fun video about my life as a dad. So, one thing that gave me some trouble early on as a parent, or not early on actually, this gave me trouble when I had my second son. The problem I had was uh, cookie cutter parenting. And what I mean by that is when I had my first son, we had him. He was an only child for about 5 years, and I figured him out. I knew how to motivate him. I knew how to get him to do things. I knew what would calm him down. I knew everything about him. And when I had my second son 5 years later, I thought the same things that worked with my first son would work exactly the same with my second. So I thought, oh, this is a done deal. I got this all figured out. And it took me a while to learn that no, kids kids are different. You can't use the same techniques. It's not a technique. It's not something that's going to work, across the board with every child. And I learned this. I think my youngest was about maybe 2 or 3 when it finally set in that they were completely different. And it happened in a swimming pool. Now, my kids learned to swim, they were pretty young. When my oldest learned, he ran into a problem that most kids run into. You put the kids in the shallow end, they're swimming just fine. You go to the deep end, and psychologically, they're thinking, this is completely different. I'm terrified. I can't do this. And I'm like, it's the same thing. You're just swimming. So one day I was in the pool with my oldest, and he was swimming just fine. And I said to him, okay, now let's go to the deep end. He said, no. And I said, okay, well, then you got to get out of the pool. This is a big boy pool, and we can't have babies in the pool. He stormed out. He got out of the pool. He went upstairs, complained to his mom, said I had called him a baby. And about 10 minutes later, he storms back down, gets to the pool, goes over to the deep end, takes a few steps, jumps in, and shouts out, I'm not a baby. And he starts swimming in the big boy pool. And, that's how we got him over his fear of swimming in the deep end. Then, 5 years later, I'm doing the same thing with my youngest boy. And we get to the same point. Exactly the same thing. Swimming in the shallow end, time to go in the deep end. And I say, all right, well, I think I'm a genius. I'm like, all right, well, sorry. This is a big boy pool. And you got to get out. This is no room for babies. If you're a baby, you can't swim in here. And he gets out, stands by the side of the pool, looks at me, and says, "No, I'm gonna get back in." I said, "No, sorry, it's a big boy pool. You can't come in." And he said, "No, Dad, that's the big boy small side. That's the big boy deep side. I'm just gonna hang out on the big boy small side." And he jumps in, and there was nothing I could say or do that would motivate him to get out. And I was like, "Wow, this kid's pretty smart." And he was about 3. What do you say to that? So I learned, you know what? They're different. I got to find different things. And the different thing for him was just give him time. The other one, I can push his buttons and make him do things right away. The other one's like, I'm just not ready. I don't want to. And when I am ready, I'll do it. And, that applies across different things with them. And to this day, there's different things that motivate my oldest one and different things that motivate my youngest one. You got to find them and apply them to each one individually. And, for parents that only have one child, great. You know what? You probably will figure it out right away. But if you have 2 or more, get ready because you got to deal with your kids and then fine tune your parenting techniques for each one. It's fun. It keeps me on my toes and I enjoy it, but it's definitely something I have to keep in the back of my mind, noticing how they do things differently. So, anyway, I hope this helps and hopefully it was enlightening. And some of you may not be there yet, but you'll have this in the back of your mind when you do get to that point. All right, take care.